Awesome. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy day today, Glenn. Really appreciate you coming on. For people who don't know who you are, tell me a little bit about yourself and the company you represent.
Sure. My name is Glenn Keenan. I'm Vice President of Sales for U.S. Bowling Corporation. We're a family-owned bowling manufacturer, been in existence since 1994, based out of Chino, California. I've been with them since 2005 and have seen all different types of changes in the industry, and I'd be happy to discuss with you what we see coming up going forward.
Sure. Yeah, I'm sure. What is that, your first foray into the bowling industry, or did you have some kind of bowling before that?
I've been in the industry myself since probably about 1993, working for various companies, and joined US Bowling in 2005 as an Eastern Regional Sales Rep, and I'm now Vice President of the company.
Oh, wow.
So
awesome. Yes, you have
it's been a great ride. Let's put it that way.
That's awesome. Yeah, you have 30 years of bowling experience.
Yes.
Yeah, you've seen it all.
I have, absolutely. Especially through COVID, which was not easy for a lot of people.
Yeah, I know. You had to change day by day. Great. So yeah, tell me a little bit about what you're seeing work for some of your customers today. You speak to a lot of people. What kind of stuff do you see working, and what kind of...
What we see in today's industry for traditional bowling centers is they are taking out a percentage of their lanes and doing conversions to family entertainment centers. Mm-hmm. We see that a lot, and they're replacing the lanes that they take out with either redemption arcade or axe throwing or mini bowling, things like that, to try to maximize the revenue per square foot. And myself, I'm an accountant, so I'm very familiar with the numbers and how they translate for return on investment with the customers. Mm-hmm. And the people that are doing these types of conversions are also modernizing the bowling lanes that they keep at the same time. Whether they're doing new scoring, just a plug for us, we do a scoring lease program, which is exclusive to the industry. And if you have any listeners who are interested, feel free to give them my contact information and I can talk to them about it.
Sure.
But we do over 1,000 lanes a year of this program, and it's very helpful to the customers. But,
what's the difference of that compared to a typical?
A typical program is most bowling center owners would have to purchase scoring up front. Mm-hmm. And with this program, all they do is they give a deposit for installation, training, and freight, and they get the scoring. It's like leasing a car. And after 4 years, you can either keep going on the lease, you can purchase the system at a prorated rate, or you can return it. Like I said, like leasing a car. The advantage is, and what we include all tech support, parts warranty, and all computer software upgrades in the lease program. So there's no planned obsolescence on the software, which is the big key.
Of course.
Most bowling centers, they get 6-7 years into their scoring system and their software is just completely outdated for today's demographics and today's social media users and things like that. Mm-hmm. And if you're a 20-lane center, you're looking at spending, I don't know, $100,000 to $150,000 on a new scoring system, which you probably have to go to a bank for. You got to borrow the money, you got to personally guarantee, you got to put up your house and all that other stuff. With our system, a 20-lane center is looking at about a $20,000 deposit. Which again covers installation, training, and freight, and then you're just making a monthly payment.
Right.
So you get positive cash flow.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about it. And I have customers that have been leasing for 4 years that have just re-upped their leases for another 4 years because it's just a complete peace of mind as far as parts warranty and tech support and having state-of-the-art software, which is key.
Right. Yeah, just like a car, you don't have to worry about it breaking down. Yeah.
Exactly.
And so now, do they still get? Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, do they still get like depreciation and things with the capital improvement?
No, they just expense it as a lease on their gross profit.
A straight write-off. Yeah, that's really nice then.
23 to 28 cents on the dollar for taxes for the government.
Yeah, that's really nice. I didn't think about it.
And they never worry about the scoring system again. That's what everybody says. It's just complete peace of mind.
Yeah, no, that is really, it's a good program. Okay, so sorry, I cut you off. Tell me a little bit about some of the other things you're seeing. Obviously, the transition to the
so the transition to the FEC. A lot of these centers are finding that one of the things you had mentioned there, that league bowling was down to 1.97% of total bowlers in the United States, which it may be a little less than that based upon what we're finding. And we also have found that open play bowlers who are not league bowlers, on average, you need about 50 to 60 open play bowlers to spend the same amount of money as 100 league bowlers because they're paying top dollar for league bowling. They're drinking and eating more than league bowlers do. Nothing against league bowlers. This is just a monetary fact of the industry.
Right.
And a lot of centers are finding that if they have 24 lanes, let's say, they're still going to be able to fit their leagues and those people on 18 lanes, let's say. So they take out 6 lanes, they put in a redemption arcade, or they put in axe throwing, and the revenue per square foot, which is the key to being
Mhm.
successful in this
Right.
industry, almost triples
Yep.
based upon what they're doing. I always go back to a center we did called Colonial Lanes in Lawrenceville, New Jersey. It was a 64 lane
Wow.
traditional bowling center.
Yeah.
And we literally tore down half his, made it the parking lot with the front entrance. And it was
Wow.
down to
Yeah.
28 lanes.
Mhm.
And he put in a redemption arcade, 2 lanes of mini bowling, a laser tag, and a new bar and restaurant concept.
Mhm.
And his revenue quadrupled
I
in the
bet.
first year.
Easily. Yeah. And I'm
This
sure
was
the
about 8
profits right
years
there
ago.
too.
Now, he
Yeah.
spent about $5 million because his demolition was quite expensive,
Sure.
but his return on investment was phenomenal.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure you
So,
pay that back pretty quickly, 5
you know,
years or less.
so this is a trend. The next big trend, what you're going to see, is a conversion from free fall pin setters to string pin setters.
Mm. Yep.
As soon as the USBC sanctions string pin setters for league play, sanctioned
Mhm.
league play, we have quite a few bowling centers in the United States now that are lining up literally for conversion to 24-volt string pin setters.
Yeah.
And ours are 24-volt, the safest pin setter in the world to use because you can't
Mhm.
be electrocuted working on 24 volts. And they use about 15% of the power.
Yeah.
So these are big items.
Mhm.
And the other thing is a traditional pin setter has about 2,200 moving parts per pin setter.
Mhm. And the
Our
mechanic.
string pin setter has 85.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I did a 20-lane center in Massachusetts. One of the ones that we built for him, we built 5 locations for him, but in 2005, we built one
Mhm.
that, pre-advent of string pin setters. And we went in later on after we did 4 more locations with string and did a conversion for him. And in the first year, he saved over $100,000 between labor, parts,
Wow.
and power because, he paid for the pin setters in 2 years.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then going forward, he's got $100,000 in positive cash flow for that type of investment. So that's why a lot of centers are considering this.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think the change is? Because I talked to a Funk Bowling and they're over in Europe. They've been trying to do
Right.
string machines for a long time. What do you
Right.
think's the catalyst that got people saying, okay, no, this is legit. This is a good way to go? Is it just the acceptance or what
I
changed?
think it's the research and development of the string pin setter itself.
Mhm.
Now, our string pin setter, we did over 5 years of research and development before we
Mhm.
brought it to market. And we have a lot of features in it that frankly nobody else has regarding the 24-volt, the capability to set individual pins. We have pneumatic ball doors in the system so you can't get any pins caught in the ball tour
Yeah.
at all. So these are all features that make it easier for family entertainment center owners because that's the real crux of what's going on here.
Right.
Most family entertainment center new construction, the owners are not from the industry, so they don't know about getting mechanics to, fix traditional pin setters. Yeah, and it's very difficult. So your average center being built today is 12 to 16 lanes, and they
Mhm.
throw in the string pin setters, and they don't have to worry about a mechanic. Anybody who takes care of their arcade games or something like that can take care of the pin setters. There's really preventative maintenance is nothing. So that's really the advent of the string pin setter was new family entertainment center construction with bowling as an anchor, not total bowling. These centers
Right.
are only doing 35% of their revenue in bowling. So they don't want to be spending 100,000 or so, like we previously discussed, on parts, power, mechanic, things like that. And even the USBC has noted in one of their articles that one of the reasons for looking at sanctioning string pin setters is because you can't find mechanics in for
Mhm.
traditional pin setters. You just can't
Yep.
find them. Harder and harder because it's a generational thing.
Mhm.
And that's really where the advent of string pin setters are going.
Mhm.
And we are one of the largest remanufacturers of free fall pin setters in the world. Every pin setter in stock that's from every major company.
Okay.
And I probably have sold 40 of them in the last 5 years, and that was
That's
to
it.
South Korea. It wasn't even
Hey.
domestic sale.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting to see where the industry's going as far
Yeah.
as string pin setters go. New center construction, I have probably 1 or 2 new centers that I'll build in the next 2 years that have free fall pin setters,
Wow.
only because
Yeah.
they want to be league based. But other than that, it's strictly,
Mhm.
I'll probably put in 300 to 500 string pin setters construction compared to maybe 20 in
Right.
free fall. That's the trend. That's the major trend. And like I said, the other thing is really incorporating ancillary revenue profit. You have too many lanes.
Yeah. And do you guys do any of that, or do you see anything working better than others, like the axe throwing, or what are some of the ones that you guys see
I
working
think
the
there's
best?
some really good axe throwing products that have been developed.
Mhm.
Virtual reality is another concept that's taking on a lot of steam right now because it doesn't take up a lot of space and it is really going after the 12 to 40-year-old demographic.
Mm-hmm. Who likes
Which
to
is your
drink?
highest spend. It's your highest spending. And that's what we're trying to do on the bowling too with our scoring system, is do interactive games. We have a game called Pin Golf,
Mm-hmm.
which is like playing PlayStation Golf. So
Okay.
the more pins you hit, the longer your drive goes, or the better your chip is, or the better your putt is, and your score is actually a golf score. So it's trying to be interactive with the kids and the teens and the young adults at home playing PlayStation and games like that.
Mhm.
Really, I think helps with the scoring.
Right. Yeah. So really broadening from a just purely bowling as the game to all games.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
we have a target game where there's positive and negative pin values. If you hit certain pins that the pin setter sets, and it's all different themes, but it's basically, again, you're trying to bring like a PlayStation game to the bowling center, as opposed to just any type of other games that are out there where the more pins you hit, the further your car goes or something like that, which really doesn't excite the younger bowlers today.
Right.
You know, that's the problem. In our, I'll be 60 in November. But our generation, when you were bowling, and there's great scoring systems out there, not just, but you were just competing against other scoring systems with some type of just game for them to bowl with. Now you're not competing against that. You're competing against, you know, like I said, PlayStation or Sega
Right.
or things
In
like that at home.
Yeah.
That these kids are playing, that if they come into the bowling center and the games are not compared to that, they're bored in 2 minutes. And of course, the social media apps are the most important things going into bowling as well.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. That's a lot of research and development is focused.
Yeah. Almost having multiple games within every game for the bowling side.
Exactly. And you have to be able to do it on a lane by lane basis or competitively across the house. Excuse me.
I see. And so you guys have a whole, I guess, research and development team is working on that, the back end software developers to create that.
Yes, because in the scoring lease program, everything we write, the customer gets. For example, we have a brand new online reservation system or a brand new point of sale system for the restaurant and bar. And any of our customers that are on that program automatically just get it downloaded into their system.
Yeah, that's a much better way to go. You used to have a lot of time in between drops, like the software version 1.0 to 2.0. Now it's every week, you know, or like Tesla, even look at that. Update your car overnight every night.
Yeah, and we like that because having your programmers on staff, you have the capability to do your research and development based upon what your customers say.
Right. Yeah, the feedback.
If they say, "Oh, we don't have this, but I want this," it's easy for us just to write it into the system. But the advantage is that everybody that's a customer of yours gets that. Even though only one person asked for it, everybody gets the benefit of that upgrade.
And it just gets better over time.
Yeah, so that's why we do that.
Yeah.
It's, you know, widely accepted by the industry today.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially people who are a little, you know, more forward thinking and know technology. I could see how that would be a no-brainer to them.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
So
Well,
what else can I help you with today?
That's all I had really for today. I know you're a little crunched for time. So if people want to get in touch with you or are interested in something like this, what's the best way to contact you, or what would you suggest for them to check out?
You can go on the usbowling.com website, or you can contact me at Glenn, GLENN, at usbowling.com, or my cell phone number is 215-275-1287. And I'm based out of Philadelphia, so it's East Coast time. You people in the West try to call me not too late in the night.
Have some consideration.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah, I really appreciate you coming, Glenn. And it sounds like we need to do another one of these maybe later in the year because you're a wealth of knowledge, been in the industry a long time. But I do appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, and if you want to get another time, like I said, my background is accounting.
Yes.
So, you know, the next time, if I have something, I apologize for the shortness of time I have today, but it's Monday. And
yeah, of course.
You know what happens over the weekend. But I do a lot of consulting with my clients on the numbers.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I have a client who we opened up it was a closed center in Indiana, and we reopened it for him. And he opened it in August of 2021. And he sends me his financials every month. And I review them for him at no charge and tell him where to adjust to maximize his net profit. Yeah. So that's another topic that bowling center operators really need to crunch on and make sure you're maximizing that profit. We can discuss some of those things next time.
Yeah, no, I would love to, because I think if you're someone who's looking to scale, that's like the first thing you need to figure out. Even like product lines, what to offer, profit per square foot. And that's all that kind of stuff. Yeah, absolutely. It's the most important concept of, as I always say, building your second location. If you don't get the first one, you're not doing this. Right, you're just going to double your problems. Exactly. But if you get the first one, you're in good shape. Yep. Absolutely. So, all right. Well, Count. Yeah. All right. You got it. Great. Thanks again, Glenn.
Absolutely.
Yep,
Thank
we'll
you.
be in touch.
Okay. Bye-bye.